Maia Friedlander was less than a year old when her parents Gillian and Daniel realised her development was a long way behind that of her twin sister Ariel. The road to diagnosis and treatment has been a long and difficult one. Maia was oxygen deprived at birth and as a consequence has a cerebral palsy-like brain injury that affects both her speech and her movement. At 4 years of age, Maia has trouble with balance and has an unusual gait that restricts what she is physically capable of. She has major difficulty with concentration, a drowsy, unfocused look and very little speech.
We've put a lot of hard work into physiotherapy, speech therapy, anything to help her, and really for the amount of hard work that we've put into Maia, it's hard to say as a parent, but we get very little back. And part of Maia's condition, she is a very sickly person. Even, we probably see the doctors on a weekly basis. That interferes with all the therapy. And also you need to just always monitor her, always be there for her and her needs and her wants. And she is just as frustrated as we are in communicating that to us.
Gillian and Daniel have tried to keep abreast of all therapy and treatment options for Maia. In February 2008, they became aware of a new and exciting option when American umbilical cord blood banking advocate Mary Schneider visited New Zealand. Mary and her son Ryan pioneered a groundbreaking cord blood treatment with Dr. Joanne Kurtzberg at Duke University in America. Ryan had the treatment when he was 2 and is now a healthy 5-year-old with no signs of cerebral palsy and no need of any further therapies. Up until the point where Mary had Ryan's cord blood used to treat his cerebral palsy, umbilical cord blood had mainly been used in the treatment of childhood cancers and leukemia. Now it is being used for brain injury conditions like cerebral palsy as well as juvenile diabetes. Since Ryan's treatment, another 50 children have gone through the procedure at Duke with significant improvements to their conditions in all cases. One of these children was Dallas Hextall of Sacramento, whose story features on the internet.
And then just 5 days later, from the child who had never uttered a word.
And of course, him and I started crying. He grabbed the video camera.
Once withdrawn, Dallas started waving, laughing, and appeared more curious. When we first met him, he was eager to connect.
6 months ago, Dallas couldn't do this. In fact, there was no guarantee he'd ever be able to do this.
And more recently, Chloe Levine of Arizona has been treated. Her story also featured on American television and the internet.
Chloe's parents say her recovery was dramatic. Remember, she had no muscle control on her right side. She used to hold her right hand close to her body, clenched in a tight fist. Now, take a look.
1, 2, 3.
Chloe is able to catch a ball, to raise her hands above her head, and to run. All of the things she couldn't do just 8 weeks ago.
When Mary and Ryan Schneider visited New Zealand, Gillian and Daniel became aware that cord blood was being used to regenerate brain function in children with birth injuries. Through Cord Bank, they got to meet Mary.
It was an amazing experience for me as a parent. We've been going down this track, looking for something or somebody to just give us hope, and we really now really got to the point of no hope. That Maia was a special needs child, and we had to come to terms with this. And I met this amazing woman, and there's no other word to explain her as amazing, with her energy and everything, and sitting down with her and explaining her journey could have been us, from the birth, the problems with the typical problems they have. It was like looking at a mirror with someone who's going through, and for the first time in four years, coming to someone who understood the pain and the anguish that we were going through. And, talking about her child and his difficulties, and talking about Maia and her difficulties was mirrored perfectly.
But not with pity.
No, perfectly. And it was just like a light had just come on, and we're sitting there looking, me and Gillian just staring at each other. And, the only reason we're in that position with these people was because we saw the foresight and believed that, the foresight of you know, keeping the cord blood of our daughter. And, you know, there was no special reason for it, but it seemed to us as parents that it was a good idea, and it seemed to only be beneficial for the future.
With Mary's support, Gillian and Daniel began the long process of trying to get Maia an appointment at Duke, a hospital with a very long waiting list for cord blood reinfusion.
I remember the day we got the date of the 26th of August 2008. I was in the kitchen looking at Gillian, and we both broke down and cried.
We did.
And
So
Gillian got the mobile call, said, "We've got a date, we've got a date." And from that point, you know, as a parent, you're just like, I don't believe it. We fought for probably 4 or 5 months, and our only thoughts in our minds was getting a date.
But before Maia